Morning, David.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Daily 3.
Welcome. Yep.
So let's start off with a review. What were your Daily 3 from yesterday, and how did they go?
I published gracely.org.
Nice.
I did that.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Oh.
That's
How come?
okay. Reach out to 20 people to try to set up fundraising meetings. Doable. Didn't do it though.
Okay. Did you reach out to any, or did you just not touch that one?
I didn't touch that one.
Dude, good job. You failed.
Thanks, bro. I realized I just didn't, like out of sight, out of mind. That's what I realized. I was so focused on, I kept so much, I kept everything else in front of me the whole day except for that. And so I didn't even think about it. I thought about it maybe like once, and then I went right back to what I was doing.
Do you think?
And then coaching practice. And that didn't really happen. I connected with the guy, but so that's all right.
All right.
How about you?
Yeah, let's see. I had...
Sorry, I'm kind of in a cranky mood this morning.
That's all right.
There's so much. I want to do so much.
But there's so little time.
Yep.
Yep. It's rough. Let's see. What did I have yesterday? In no particular order. I'm probably going to end up stating these backwards. Make dinner for my wife. Start the Daily 3 show, which we did. And then finish the basement. So I actually did those in the opposite order. But I didn't finish as much as I wanted on the basement. I think I'm learning that I seriously underestimate how much I can get done.
Yeah.
And also the just types of problem solving that is required when I actually get in there and start doing stuff. I just encounter problems where I'm like, oh, this is going to take some creative troubleshooting, and it's not going to go as fast as I had wanted or hoped. But
that sucks.
Yeah, it was good at the end of the day to like experience the frustration and just being like ticked about that.
Absolutely.
And then just coming to terms with like how
you failed.
Yeah, how slow I am sometimes at stuff, and how much it's like, oh, this actually takes a lot of time to do. So yeah, that one didn't go super well. So I'm going to take a crack at that one again today. Mm-hmm. That's on my Daily 3 for today. And then, recording this and setting this up went really well. We spent way more time on it than I thought we would. I think they clocked like 4 or 5 hours, but
right.
I actually finished it. Like I finished something. We took it from start to finish all the way to editing the episodes. So that was good. And then making dinner for my wife was great because she actually already had dinner, so I didn't have to make dinner for her.
That was super easy.
Yeah, so super easy and super unexpected. And I was like, oh, crap.
Is she leaving or no? Oh, she's staying?
She's going to stay this weekend.
Oh, whoa. So. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So what are your Daily 3 for today?
My Daily 3 are finish a bid. So I went and did a bid for a property. It's actually kind of an interesting situation. They take... I don't know the client or the company, but basically they're taking a foreclosed home and they're like fixing it up and rehabbing it, bringing it to livable condition. And then they're going to give like, I don't know if they give it for free or if it's actually just like a 0 interest or low interest loan to a veteran and their family. So I got to go bid that job.
Nice.
So I already did that this morning. The only thing I have to finish up now is the office side of things. So actually looking at materials, looking at prices, putting hours in, all that sort of stuff.
Okay. How long will that take?
I don't know. I'm hoping to get it done in a half hour, but more realistically, it's probably like 2 hours is what it's going to take me.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest about being a realist, it's probably more like 3 hours. So I need to figure out a faster way to bid.
What if you create a shot list for the bid?
Ooh, what do you mean by a shot list?
Of like what we talked about with your...
Oh, is it like a shot list for filming?
Yeah,
like things to shoot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, just shoot everything. That's what I do.
Right. So, I mean, what if you...
Shoot your wife, shoot your kids, shoot your friends.
Nope, that's not what we mean.
Shoot your dog.
Well, unless you're talking about with a camera.
Shoot your backyard. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. Shoot everything you can with the camera. Then you have it all.
Yeah. So how you did a set list of like, you just lay out before. All I'm saying is if you can break it down into like...
What I think I should start doing is
rather than just diving in and swimming around and being like, what's going to go on here?
Yeah. Well, I have a list of items that they want me to bid.
Okay.
So that's helpful. But I think what I need to start doing is if I want to keep bidding jobs like this in the future, a couple things I'm learning. One, I need to be I need to get better at learning how to vet clients. So how serious they are, whether it's someone who's like, oh, I'm looking to have this done for $6,000. It's like, oh yeah, I could do it for $6,000 if the labor's free and the materials are stolen, but that's not the case. So it's like, oh yeah, so like trying to figure out like, what are they actually expecting? Right. And does their expectations for quality actually match mine? Because a lot of times they're looking for a lower level of quality than I like work at. And so it's like, oh, I'm not interested in doing this because I don't really.
Right. And you don't steal materials anymore and do free labor. So
yeah, exactly. I quit doing that a while ago. So
it's a whole different ball game now.
Yeah. And then secondly, I think, and this is probably a productivity thing, is like building a database. So if I bid an exterior door, like saving that in a database. So next time I do an exterior door, I know, okay, it's $600 if they want this done.
That's smart.
That way, those
then you can
things just come. Yeah. Yeah. Like painting, I'm starting to do that with painting. So part of this job was a whole interior, repainting everything, walls, ceiling, trim, kitchen cabinets, and then also an exterior painting too. So they ended up subbing that out to someone else, so I don't have to bid it. But I started building a database that operates by room. So I know, okay, I can probably, depending on what the room is like, I can do a room for between $450 and $700. So then it's like, I know I can just count rooms and their sizes, and then it like makes it a lot faster. So that's something that's like, oh yeah, like if there are things that you have to repeat, like the thing I'm learning is if there are things that you are going to repeat, it's worth making the system up front the first time so that you can capitalize on the efficiencies of that system later.
That makes sense.
Because you've already put the work in.
Right.
And I think we're learning that with editing as well, editing video and audio.
Can you go back at all to projects you've done in the past that you've recorded time on and dole it out that way?
Yep.
If you do, if that's accurate.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. I should, or figure out where are my inaccuracies, like which part was I accurate on and which parts weren't I.
Because I wonder if there's key. I wonder if there's like key aspects of a bid, or like key parts of like a room.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, the number of walls, even if we're talking like corners, like something juts out, like, oh, you add 2 extra walls in there. If that like increases time, or like if there's like certain thing. I don't know if that's true. Like if there's certain things that increase, that you can then like multiply and
certainly.
But
so
I would have bid like a year completion on that painting job if it was me. I'd have been like $100,000 and a year.
And I'm gonna use my little paint by numbers brush set. That's why it's gonna take me that long.
Oh no, I'm just
kidding.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Were we already talking about today's Daily 3?
Yeah.
Or was I still talking about yesterday? Yeah, today.
Finishing your bid.
So finishing that bid, taking a second crack at the basement.
Well, you got quite a bit done yesterday.
Just not as much as I was expecting.
Okay.
So I think having more realistic expectations.
There's plywood on the floor though, above insulation.
Yeah, but it's not secured. And it's not cut to fit. I just threw it in there for something to stand on and set stuff on.
Oh. That's okay.
We'll get there.
Nice.
So yeah, doing that. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to film and shoot a video today on how to use a pro foam gun. Instead of just the cans that have the straw that you put on.
Yeah. The pink stuff or the yellow stuff.
Yeah, yep. And you squirt it out of the straw and then you fill stuff.
Yeah.
So they make more like professionalized versions of those.
Like paint sprayers, but with foam?
Kind of. It's more just like a little like pistol sized gun.
Okay.
And you squirt it out. And the advantage of that is usually those ones have a higher yield. And then there's also
yield by, you mean like how much it expands?
Yeah, or as far as volume. So like
the
cans used with that go further material wise, and then you can also reuse them.
Because what, it aerates it more, or?
Because of the formula mainly. And then it gives you like a better control over how much is actually being applied.
Gotcha.
So with the straw, it's really just like so much, however much comes out of that straw is how much is coming out. With a gun, there's like a controller or a regulator. So you can, if you want a really small, thin bead of foam, you can do that. If you want a really wide one, you can adjust it for that. So, but it's like a little,
Is that what everyone uses in their van builds or their tiny homes? I don't know. I've seen lots of people who like will take Sprinter vans and they'll strip it down to the bare frame, the metal, and then they'll go in there with, it looks like that's what they're using,
Yeah.
the spray foam to get around all the nooks and crannies. And
I mean, how big is it? Is it like, because it's basically like the same size as like those can ones, just a little bigger.
well, maybe.
So I'm not talking like the big professional, like you're hooked up to a huge bunch of hoses and doing
Oh,
like
gotcha.
a whole wall.
Oh,
This is still just for like small stuff, but it's,
can you just buy them?
Mhm.
And they're one-offs. You don't keep the handle. It's just,
well, they do make them a disposable model of
Okay.
like the handle or the trigger. And then they have like a
gotcha.
couple of higher end models that you can reuse, but
I realized this is me. We discovered this. We recently took the Enneagram, and I love, one of the questions was, do you enjoy learning about things for the sake of learning? Or do you enjoy learning about things for the sake of, only if it can be like immediately applied?
yeah,
And we are different in that, where
totally.
for me, I'm just like, oh, I want to learn how this all works. Why? I just like knowing how the world works. And so,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
No, that's funny. Yeah. And I'm like the opposite, where I'm like, I want to know it if it's immediately applicable to something I'm doing.
Right.
And if it's not, then I feel the stress or like a pressure almost to make it immediately applicable. So like, say I'm learning about something I'm not even doing right now, like say how to install a window. I'm like, oh, now that I know how to do that, I'm just going to be like looking at all the windows in every house I walk around and being like, I wonder if this one needs to be replaced, or I need to replace this one because it's rotting in the corner, or like, so I there's like this impulse to apply whatever knowledge I've just learned.
Yeah. I don't know
and
why.
apply it somehow in
That
some
impulse
way.
is not, I don't know why. I do not have it. I'm just like,
Not at
that's
all.
great. I'll tuck it away. I might forget it, but I might not. Who knows? It's interesting. I feel like I learned, I maybe, yeah, I don't know why. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So basement.
Yep. So finish up the bid, do the basement, and then thirdly, film a spray foam video.
Oh, that's right. That's why we were talking about spray foam.
Yep. That's how we got there. So those are my big three, my daily three. What are your daily three, man? What do you got today?
Yeah. Daily three are, one, I actually do, today, I actually do have a coaching appointment today with a guy.
Nice.
And so that will actually, so like an actual, yesterday I realized I need to stop considering that a coaching appointment, because it's not, it's just.
It's more of just like a friendship, catching up kind of thing.
Yeah, somewhat, but there's, and
that's good, man.
I think
find the relationship.
Well, yeah, I think I need to reschedule that though then, so it's not in the middle of the workday. Because we're trying to talk every week. It's just a fellow guy who struggles with depression. I've struggled with depression, so it's like I can try to encourage him. And but today is just a coaching appointment, so I have that coming up. So that's one of mine, and that will be good. Another one is to we recently switched donation platforms for the nonprofit I run, and so I need to help 2 donors switch to the new donation platform today.
Nice.
And then the third one is this is why I'm so frustrated this morning. I have so much I want to do. I suppose if I do this one, my reward can be to work on the website. So to reach out to 20 people again.
Okay.
Put that one back on the docket and do that.
Does that one stress you out? Or cause you to feel anxiety?
I don't know. I don't know if it causes me. What do I feel when I I think I get caught up in thinking about I think I get caught up in thinking about all of like of all of the belief and hurdles you run into with fundraising. And it frustrates me, and then it kind of like overwhelms me as well.
Sure.
Because so much you learn with fundraising is like we have such distorted views about money and about whose it is and how we steward it, and it's like, and if there's it's like all these underlying currents that are never actually spoken about in person.
Sure.
And what happens is that, I don't know. So I think fundraising attacks my identity, because often what happens is so this is how I see it. People's view of money, is their undergirding beliefs about money that I think is skewed because America. Because hashtag America.
Yeah.
And so without knowing it, that's affecting how people think of fundraising. When someone comes to them and say, "Hey, I'm doing this thing. I believe it to be a good cause. Here's why. Would you like to support me and or support the organization?" And so then they respond to it, in such a way that I think plays into my own insecurities about
money.
Not necessarily about money, but about about my value. Like, am I doing something that's worthwhile? Am I doing something that's...
So those are questions you have, and based on how they respond.
Yes.
Then those
I might feel inadequate, or I might feel like a failure, or I might feel like I'm just a beggar. I'm just coming out here begging because I'm not actually doing like a real job or real work, or, and so I think I get like caught up into that cycle. And I'm not, and so I think, dang it. And I just realized I'm like blaming. I was just talking to Josh about this. I'm realizing I'm not taking responsibility for that, right? Like I'm not kind of going in I'm not going in realizing like, no, I do believe what I'm doing is worthwhile. I do believe it is for the Lord. It's for his kingdom, and it's for the sake of his body, the church. And, so I think, but it's also easy for me to see like, I don't know. It's also kind of easy to see how the money thing plays into it too.
Sure.
When I talk to people, because they're like, "Oh, your salary is that much, huh?" It's like,
So you feel like overly criticized?
I think, which, who cares? And I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a lot there. There's like so many emotions, and that's, and you're right. There's probably like my own issues with money involved in there too. Totally. Absolutely there is. Why would I say there isn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a big mess of emotion and confusing thoughts and false beliefs and culture, pressure and everything, and like relational dynamics. And so it's like, dude, no wonder people don't like to fundraise in ministry, because it's like, oh yeah, all of this, at least for me, all of this is at play. So
yeah.
So I think about, and so I think I offer, that. So yes, maybe that causes anxiety, but I don't feel like, oh, I don't want to type this email. It's just like, I more am, I don't know, like more just get like overwhelmed by all those different emotions that are at play.
Sure.
That was kind of like a unloading there.
That's great. I mean, it's not great. It
sucks,
sucks, but that was insightful. Or that's good to, I think, reflect on. Or even, I don't know if you find this helpful, but even just like stating those things out loud.
Yeah.
For yourself to hear.
Yeah.
And go, oh, this is what's getting in the way of me. And it is difficult, right? Like I've experienced similar stuff with fundraising. It's
right, because at the end of the day, it's really like, hey, this is a nonprofit I've started. The goal is to encourage church leaders with the grace of Jesus Christ through these ways. I'm looking to raise support. Would you like to join my monthly team?
Yeah.
And it should be as simple as no, thank you, or yes. And either way, maybe going, well, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Or thank you for considering this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for considering it. And, but it's never, but we have a hard time. It's, I don't know. So.
Dang. Do you think, do you foresee ways that you could break this down to make it easier? Like break it down into smaller pieces so it feels less overwhelming?
Yeah. And I know for, and I'm so something. And we've talked about, I think, this a little bit of. I need to check on the times just before I leave. We got time. I need like creating scaffolding in place. I need to do, I think. So I think yes. So putting truths in front of me that I can that I can visually see to remind myself of. So when I actually am in the process of fundraising, or when I'm actually in the process of emailing or talking on the phone, or note cards that I can take with me. So it's like, because so that like there's, I don't know, I'm not looking into my mind and thinking about and trying to understand all of that's going on.
Yeah, you're not just getting lost in your head and your emotions to the point where it's like, or it helps bring clarity in that moment of what
I'm doing and what my goal is and what is okay and what is not, and like what is okay. It's okay if people say no. Like, it's like it's
totally.
So I think that's part of it, and I think part of it is, I was just thinking about this. I was just I'm talking a lot this morning, I feel like.
No.
So a blog post I'm creating in my head, or an article that I want to write about, or a book, is like the cost of living for yourself. And I feel like this is wrapped up into it a lot.
What do you mean by that?
Of like,
like what?
When I approach fundraising, and I'm living for myself, I'm concerned about what people think much more. And I let what people think affect my emotions, and my identity, and therefore it becomes much more of a tumultuous experience emotionally, because because ultimately myself is at stake. My does that make sense? And versus living for Christ, or like, who else could I live for? Jesus. And if I come in then saying I'm doing this for Christ, already there's a sense in which it's like the identity is more firm, and the identity is secure, because
the gospel frees you from the result of the outcome.
Yes.
Or frees you from how it turns out.
Yes. And
you're free to risk, free to try, free to do hard things, difficult things, and the easy things without them making a statement about who you are or if you're okay or not, because the gospel says you are okay. So
yeah, absolutely. It says I'm okay. And it says these are good things of what you're trying to do. And therefore, if people don't want to join, that's okay. Because maybe God's is directing them to support something else for his kingdom. Praise the Lord. Maybe God is, just saying like, no, I don't want you to give, for a myriad number of reasons. Or maybe they're also like just greedy. That's a possibility, and that's okay. Like, okay. I don't know why that needs to affect. And so I think part of that too is like being like, is I don't know,
being open-handed about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Open-handed about it. So if you stay or if you go, I am in Christ and I am okay. And I believe in what I'm doing, and I believe like it is what God has called me to right now.
Yeah.
And I'm living for him and for his work, not for me and my work or myself. So the cost of living for yourself, Jesus would say, is everything, is death, is, what does he say? What does it
profit a man
if he
to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Yeah.
And if we seek to gain our life, we must lose it for his sake. So I'm seeing how that applies in fundraising.
Yeah. Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
It's a deep dive on the daily 3.
The deep dive on the daily 3.
I think that's good because a lot of times we don't. Like, it's good to reflect on this type of thing and acknowledge like these things actually affect personal productivity and like our ability.
Our belief about the gospel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And like our emotional set of, it's not just like, hey, I'm going to make a checklist and get these things done. It's like when you are putting things on this list, there it is, you are bringing parts of yourself into it, right? You are bringing those sort of emotions or those beliefs or those preconceived assumptions that you might have about how certain things work, right? And it's like all of those come up, and that's like, yeah, this conversation every day so far for me at least has been a lot of that of like, oh, it's not just like, here's the things I need to do, hold me accountable to them, but it's also been like, oh, here's the attitudes and mindsets and false beliefs I may be holding that also need to be corrected and even just like acknowledged.
Yes, which is why work is such a fundamental part of us.
Totally.
We're spending 8+ hours a day doing something. It cannot just be this compartmentalized thing that doesn't affect who we are.
Right. And even
it shapes us.
And that's even just paid work, right?
Right.
Non-paid work, we're doing more than that.
Oh my gosh.
And like I define work very broadly of just like
me too.
Anything you need to get done. Anything you need to apply yourself that needs to happen, right? So like for me yesterday, making dinner for my wife, I don't get paid to do that, but it's still work. There's still aspects of that is like, this is difficult, or it's work to do, or it's something that needs to get done. And so, yeah, even in work, paid and non-paid, this comes up, and I think that's huge.
I think that's why. So I think I'm just thinking about, and then we got to end. I think that's why this idea of vocation envelops the larger view of work. What is God calling you to?
Right.
As a human being, wherever he's placed you at this certain time, in this certain period, in this certain location, around these certain people.
Certainly.
Yes.
All right. So that's the daily 3. Write it down, make it happen. We got to get some scaffolding in front of you.
Yep.
That reminds you of different truths. And probably the scaffolding I need today is to make a shot list of everything I need to shoot. I'm just going to shoot everything.
Just break it down, make it happen.
Break it down, make it happen. All right.
Yes. Thanks. See ya.